Okay, look, I have way too much time on my hands, so I'm sorry, but I was thinking about the whole controversy between the Big Bang and what the Bible says, evolution versus creation. And I'm a science person, but I'm also a Bible person. And I really love Einstein. I don't understand string theory at all. Of course, I haven't really looked into it, but I love Einstein. I completely understand the theory of relativity and how space-time is one concept, okay? So just hear me out. This is why the Bible's right and the scientists are right. They're both right. And if I'm scientifically incorrect on anything, then tell me. But I have a theory. The time is actually slowing down. So here's why. Okay. We know that the universe is expanding. It is constantly expanding. Whether it's expanding at a constant rate or if that rate is accelerating, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. This is just a thought, okay? So if you're a physicist, get back to me on that. Whatever. So if the universe is expanding, if we could assume that everything within the universe is expanding at an equal rate, okay? So our solar system is expanding, not just the space between our solar system or the space between our galaxy and another galaxy, but individual galaxies are expanding at the same rate, constant to which the universe is expanding. So there's your if, okay? If that's happening, then time is slowing down because time is just something that we created, okay? Time is how long it takes light to get from the sun to the earth, and that's 1 light year. And then we broke it all down and we figured out from there what a year is, which is 1 rotation of the earth. There's a light year, there's a regular year, and a light year is a certain number of Earth years and blah, blah, blah. And we all know if you travel really fast through space, you come back and you're young and everyone on Earth is old because of the theory of relativity. But the Bible says the earth was created in 7 days. But when we carbon date stuff, it's really, 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 really old. Billions of years old. Okay? Because the chemical reactions that were occurring to that carbon-14 is an isotope of carbon. Regular carbon is carbon-12. There's a certain amount of carbon-14 naturally occurring, and it degrades over time, or decays, or whatever you want to call it. And they measure how much of it over time has decayed, and that's how they get these years. But those years are in years like compared to a year today, or a year at what point? Do you get what I'm saying? So in my theory is that time is either slowing down or speeding up, and I keep going back and forth on that, but I think it would be that time is slowing down. Because if time is slowing down, then let's just say the average person lives to be 75 now. Well, Methuselah supposedly lived to be 963 or something like that. Excuse me, pregnant. If he lived to be 963, one explanation of that could be that the years were just shorter, so he got more of them. And they were shorter because there was less space, because time and space are really the same thing, okay? There was less space between what's going on. Or you could say the earth is spinning faster, or whatever. But if the earth was spinning faster, then the decay rate would have been faster. So that, to me, and I'm not a physicist. I did well in physics, but I'm not a physicist. So tell me if I'm wrong. If you're a physicist, please, I love physics. Tell me. But prove me wrong, whatever. And I wish I could do the math, but could not explain how carbon dating and the Bible don't match up. Okay, so maybe the earth was created in 7 days, but those days back then, if Yahweh created the heavens and the earth, you could theorize that that means he created this entire universe. So he would exist outside of this universe, okay? We all know the theory that there's multiple universes, and Elijah Paul theorizes that Yahweh simply is some entity that has evolved so far that he essentially created himself and had the ability to create this universe. Okay. If he exists outside this universe, then at the moment he was creating the universe, the time that would have been given for that would have been his time, which would really be kind of completely unrelated to the time that we use now, that we measure our day-to-day life by. So those 7 days, it's kind of an irrelevant number, okay? And then also in the Bible, I'm pretty sure it says, and I'm getting it all backwards and flip-flopped, but that 1,000 years in heaven is like a day on earth, or a day on earth is like 1,000 years in heaven. Okay, so maybe those 7 earth days were 7,000 heaven days, but that doesn't mean that it's 7,000 today days on earth. Those two things could be not related. Does that make sense? So maybe heaven doesn't actually mean space. Maybe heaven refers to out of this universe, which is another reason why you shouldn't worship aliens, because they're within the universe. If there are extraterrestrials, they're just another creation of Yahweh, and it doesn't mean you should worship them. And it would explain why when he did appear to people in the Old Testament, they couldn't see him or they would die, because he was basically a pure energy being at that point. He evolved to such an extent that he was a pure energy being. Yeshua could come down as a human, and we could look at him, but when he goes to heaven, he can live forever. Well, that's because time is different there. Time is completely different. So tell me if I'm wrong, whatever. I've just been like churning it in my brain. The first few days I was like, wait, time is speeding up. But then I thought about it. I was like, no, if the universe is expanding and there's more space between things, then technically time would be slowing down. And then my son actually pointed out that could explain the shortened lifespan. So when in the Old Testament, when Yahweh shortened our lifespan, maybe he didn't tweak our genes, okay? Maybe he simply, and I say simply, but I'm not a highly evolved pure energy being who created the universe, but maybe he tweaked the universe, and that affected our lifespan. So tell me what you think. Put your comments below, and don't forget to visit my campaign on TubeStart to help me get a new computer so Eden Cultures Talk Show Live can be more interesting and exciting. And anyway, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you Sunday night at 7, and I'm going to talk about the human-animal hybridization that is plaguing our earth, which is completely against Leviticus. The Old Testament specifically says, don't do that. Don't do that. It doesn't say it like that, but don't do that, okay? It's bad. And I'm also going to talk about Edward Snowden's media blackout interview and the royal family child trafficking scandal. So tune in Sunday night at 7. Have a great night.